Greetings, friends. My name is Beardford, and let me tell you about a little game called ScourgeBringer. ScourgeBringer is made by Flying Oak Games. They have been in development with this game since about February of this last year. It's due to come out October 21st of this year on Steam. It's currently available on early access through Steam, and you can get it on Epic Games Store as well. Although on Epic Games it just says coming soon, so I'm not sure what the plans are regarding that. I'm just going to show you their website because the development updates kind of explain basically what this game's about, and I feel like I'd be doing it a disservice by explaining it any other way. So they explain this as a fast-paced, free-moving, rogue-like platformer, which I hear those words and I just light up because that just sounds fantastic to me. Dead Cells, Binding of Isaac, Super Meat Boy. I mean, there's a little bit of everything in this. Not bullet hell, but like shoot 'em ups or shmups, whatever you want to call them. Kind of similar in regards. Reminds me of Axiom Verge a little bit as well, with the styling and the layout of this is similar to like a Metroidvania. So it basically compares this to a Metroidvania. It touts the fluid platforming controls here, which it does indeed possess. Defy a dozen giant bosses holding the secrets of Scourge. I have fought the first boss, pretty fun. I imagine it gets a lot more fun after that too. Explore the infinite depths of an ever-changing dungeon, basically the procedural room-to-room type thing that roguelikes are known for. Uncover mysteries and alternative routes to find mementos. There's a little bit of a backstory here, I guess lore if you want to call it. So there is some story involved, which is interesting as well. That overarcs with the rogue-like feel too, which is why typically they kind of call them rogue-lites, I think, these days. You do have an improvement that carries over between rounds too. So I mean, you start every game fresh with what you have, but you do get passive traits and actually a game system change in a little bit as you play this. So anyway, let's get into the game and I will just kind of explain what it is as we go. Now I have played, so this is not the start of the game, I have played a couple hours into it. I still have not cleared the first world, I guess you could call it the first level of this. Just go quickly into the settings. It actually has a fair amount of control over your game and your UI. So, you know, the usual kind of stuff here. You can replay the introduction if you want for a video, which I'll do for another video of this, I think. Has an in-game timer if you'd like that kind of thing for probably speedruns, I suppose. I've got this set to 1440p. You may be able to go beyond that. I'm not sure if it has 4K capabilities. Frame rate up to, you know, fortunately no capping on it. This is really cool to me here, is that the gamepad style, you could change this. So this basically is really more for when things pop up on your screen telling you what to press. And a lot of times this is sort of bugged out with Steam, I've noticed with my games. As much as I try to get, not every game has, I don't think, PlayStation DualShock 4 native support. So this though does. It's awesome. You can play this with a keyboard and mouse, which I thought was interesting. I just didn't like the platforming aspect with a keyboard, so I ended up going with a controller. And then you can adjust the game speed a little bit, which is pretty neat. I'm not going to set it down. And I guess if you want an added challenge, maybe increase the speed. Anyways, let's get into this. I'll just kind of explain what this game is all about. So, a fluid, free moving roguelite platformer is how this is described. This is sort of your hub, your little place you come back to after each round. You get this fellow who is like your guide, I guess you want to call him. Over here you've got these overarching traits that I mentioned. Clearly I've not unlocked very many of them, and one thing that I did think was interesting, I don't really want to, I'd rather leave anything unspoiled, but you can actually unlock, and it's very early on, so it's clearly a main kind of mechanic in this game. You can unlock a combo system. So it's so arcadey feeling. It's fantastic. And as you unlock, or as you do damage, which apparently improves based on your speed and attack variety, so giving you incentive to not just tunnel vision on one type of playstyle, which I tend to do. Especially in this game, I forget to use ranged attacks, but apparently if you mix them in, it actually helps this combo meter, and as your combo meter rises, you get more droplets, which are basically currency in this game to use with the shopkeepers. So very cool, and you can improve upon that too. So I'm gonna just jump in this game, go through this here. I'll explain the tool set you have to begin the game. Now this game isn't quite so much like Dead Cells, where, not that I've noticed anyway yet, where you actually bring in different weapons, or maybe you have a build. It's not so much like a melee build or a ranged build. You do get improvements to your ranged capabilities and your melee capabilities, but I haven't noticed that you get an actual variety of weapons. So you will get what is described as different weapons, but when I see those weapons, it just shows, a faster, more like a shmup in a way, where it's like you get just maybe a wider spread of bullets, or you can automatic fire instead of manually fire. So not quite the same as Dead Cells, which is why I say it's really brings in a variety of different tools in this game. So anyway, movement's pretty standard. You run always. You don't have a slower mood. Even just like tapping goes the same speed. So you could use the D-pad pretty easily with this. You've got jump, double jump. Longer you hold jump the first time, and then a second jump. The interesting thing about this game is you could stay in the air indefinitely. More so when you're in actual battles. So slashing just keeps you airborne. And then you have this dash with R1. And you can dash, it seems to be set on a timer. Well, I accidentally went into the first fight. So, hold on one second and I'll... As you can see, I can kind of stay airborne, and I gotta... Oh, we got this big boy down here. He's not happy. We can kind of use line of sight for projectiles, kind of like you would in a shmup. There isn't really, that I've noticed, on one boss, you can use this smash attack, it's called, to skip through that, but I don't know if that's the case for all attacks. So, okay, so there you see, that's one of our items, and you can get that at the end of each room. And there are bonuses to, potential for items in each room too there. So anyway, back to the controls here. Sorry about that. So you can do double jump. You can dash in all directions, downward included. And on top of that, you can do it infinitely. It's just, you can't spam it. That's the fastest you can do it in between, it looks like. But yeah, so, and on top of that, as you're slashing, you kind of freeze in midair. So while you're attacking enemies, you could just, it's just fantastic gameplay. It really reminds me almost even of Nier Automata in terms of how the combat is. It's like, yeah, like 2D Nier Automata is actually a pretty fair comparison to this in terms of combat. Not the variety of combat that you have. So then you also have this ranged weapon, which you can see on your left-hand side over here. It has your bullets, and then you've got another 6 rounds after that. You reload as you attack. So every melee strike helps reload. There is some options through items that you can reload automatically and slowly. Sort of like the typical trade-off you get for rogue-lite items. So anyway, so this is the bullet. I can't automatically fire it right now, but you can eventually. There you can see it reloaded. Let's go to another room and you can kind of see the combat a little bit better for yourself. You've got enemies that there's always a warning as they're about to fire, it seems, or as they're about to launch their attack, whatever that may be. Now, what I had done there, and I'm going to show you before I go to the next round, there is also the smash attack. This is the smash attack there. A little bit of a freeze. It kind of feels like Super Smash Brothers. There's a slight delay, and when you hit them, it's got this weight to it. But anyway, you could stun enemies with this smash attack if they're susceptible to stuns. I'm not sure that all are, but these particular enemies, they're going to fire projectiles at me. As their exclamation point goes off to warn me, I'll try to smash attack them to freeze them basically and stop their attack. So, all right, so on your map is the upper left-hand corner. I can press share or select key, whatever you want to call it, to open it up. And it's not completely revealed. You will have the opportunity to get maps to reveal the map if you wish. The droplet up top there is just going to be my shopkeep. As I was saying, droplets are your currency, which I have 78 now under the combo bar on the right. Right now he has an HP option, damage option to your range weapon, and a change in weapon. So that's what I mean with this. So it's a different weapon technically by name, however you don't swap to it. And it's really just an alteration of your current gun. Just talk to this fellow so you can see. His name is Greed. And there's also Peppy that sometimes shows up and gives you free items at the beginning of a world, or beginning of a run, which is really awesome. I'm not sure if it has anything to do if you die repeatedly. It's almost like a catch-me-up kind of situation or what there. Alright. So there I stunned him. You can see the graphic kind of changes. He looks dazed. And that's pretty important. So at first when I started playing this, I was just smashing buttons, because honestly it felt like I had to. But there's actually a bit of precision involved with this. And there's tricks you can do to get, avoid damage. Just like any roguelite, very short on damage. Or, I'm sorry, health is what I mean to say. Damage you can take. But definitely using, knowing when to hide, knowing when to get behind line of sight, very important in this game. Let's go down to the next thing. Kind of want to get to, so there is a boss to each stage, or to each world. Each level, maybe, is the best way to... Ooh, a barrel. So there's a boss to every overarching stage, I guess you want to call them, and each room has their own little not bosses, but there is one mini boss who's in the next room here. He's an eye construct. I'm not sure if this changes every world or every level. I don't know what to call these things. Levels. Let's call it levels. But so, after I first fought this guy, he gave me a little hint. Was given to me by the man in my main room. Basically said that he's very susceptible to stuns. And that's what I'm doing to him each time I attack him. And it's kind of making it easy mode right now. As long as you don't get caught. Shoot. Well. Oh. See, I got hit there. Now, there is a pretty obvious graphic for when you get hit. Free kind of does this bullet time moment, is all I can kind of relate it to. And also the sound is this really just nice effect with the drop in noise briefly when you get hit. So it's very obvious when you've taken one damage. It feels like momentous when you do. Alright, so when you kill him, that unlocks your ability to get to the boss. And by the way, I didn't mention as well, there are some traps in this game. Nothing serious, but it really encourages you to just attack constantly while airborne. Between the combo meter and trying to pull off different combos, but these pads right here, anything that looks like this so far that I've seen is going to have spikes. Now, when you land on it, you'll have a split second to jump away from it. It's very short, though. You could land on it, but you need to get off right away. But spikes will pop up, and then they'll, damage it, and then you'll feel like an idiot, basically. Let's go ahead to the next round here. I haven't really used the gun much. I have this feeling like I just want to save it for some reason. I'd rather melee if I can. I don't know why. That's probably not wise, but... not doing well this round at all. I'm hoping to get to the boss just so I could show you in this video what the boss kind of looks like in the first level. God, I gotta stop saying world. I'm gonna focus up here. Oh boy. Not good. You can attack through these floors too, which is just really nice. I feel like that's on purpose, just to give you an extra edge. I catch myself just spamming buttons too much sometimes in this game too, and that's where I would probably improve. Okay, so I always thought this was a happy face when I first started, but if that room above me on the map, that's signifying a little altar that's going to spawn 3 choices. And this is pretty similar to a lot of things. You know, as you progress through roguelites, typically they give you a choice on how to improve. And a lot of times it comes with a catch. So here, more likely to drop any kind of items when we finish a room. Here, our reloading energy slowly recharges automatically while there are enemies around, rather than... Now, I don't know if that's in addition to the current way it works for me. And then lastly, we've got this numbing field, which increases the invulnerability time between 2 hits, which seems like a pretty good option if you're low on health right now, so I'm just going to go with that. It might save my life, especially since I just want to get to the boss fight for this specific video. Ooh, spikes, which I somehow avoided. Not bad. Retained all 3 health here. So there's not too many more rooms, so this will make for getting that boss pretty solid right now. Just want you to be able to see the fast play. Also, the music in this game is just so awesome if you love metal. It just has such a great vibe to it. Almost like Doom-ish in a way in terms of how it approaches. Like 2D Doom. Although not quite in any other way, but, you know. Gotta compare it to something. There's so many things this game just draws from in a way. Alright, there's a computer. So these computers on this stage, once I kill this guy, I'll explain. This is like kind of where the lore comes in. So I do this, I pick up this expedition log. And it does this little bit of storytelling. And you can actually access this later too, so... I'm not really going to read it right now because it's actually sort of out of order. You get these archives in random order, it seems. If I press... Oh, where did it go? Actually, it's back on the... Oh, I just accidentally fast traveled. So I have unlocked something that allows you to fast travel between rooms too, which is nice. So rooms that you've been to anyway. And this is where we were, I suppose. So let's go down. Now, I have actually enough money to go to this blood, so I'm going to travel over to his and see what we got. So we can increase our damage. I can get a better gun, or... And I'm not really that into the range damage. I'm more about the melee, so... I suppose, though, we should just get this, just to give it a shot. I haven't tried this yet, so... This would be fun to kind of just mess around with some. Let's go ahead and head to here. Go down. It's interesting how these rooms all end up shaped, too, because it creates its own challenges. You know, in this room particularly, I have no line of sight. You know, and that's where the challenge comes in a room like this. Fortunately, but on the other end, I can combine my attacks better. It's easier to control your damage in like an area of effect with these rooms, too. And like here, I can kind of take my time a little bit. There isn't a whole lot of projectile damage that I get worried about. Now this guy, you have to maintain some line of sight on. I'll just try to keep doing this over and over until he dies. There we go. Alright, I have a feeling the boss thing might be here. Nope. As you can see, probably if I was more focused, I would have survived a bit longer without losing all my health. Yeah, let's go ahead and use it on those guys. Why not? I constantly forget to use them, so... Alright, so here we got a little thing that increases my combo meter, which is great. Now, that combo meter will decay over time as well. I haven't noticed the speed at which it happens, but currently we're maxed at 2.5, so... There is a way to increase your max as well through items. So this is our boss level. Now, I've got 2 more rooms left, and the benefit of clearing the entire stage is actually pretty good. You'll get a couple items out of it, and there's only 2 rooms left. I like to explore all items. Now, if I was out of health or I was just trying to get to a boss, I wouldn't do this. This is just like a little short alleyway kind of looking thing. Let's go right. I guess I missed my chance to just go straight across to it. Gotta stay off there, those spikes, and I think he did some damage to me. Man, I'm down to 2 for some reason. When did I get hit twice? Now, the only thing about dash in this is that it does not make you impervious to damage. So you can't just use it as a way to avoid damage like you can in some other games of this kind of similar type. Hades, for example, with this fast-paced gameplay. All right, so we get Strange Egg, which gives me back 2 HP. Fantastic. And we're going to increase our ammo capacity. All right, now we've cleared everything. So those are the rewards for clearing. The first time you do it, it kind of tells you, but this time I just sort of assume at this point. All right, so we've got our boss fight. This is going to be Body Boulder, which I love. Now, you can remain airborne, but, you know, it's not always beneficial. I did learn in like a secret, it gave you a little bit of a tip where you could avoid his fire attacks by slamming. He's also... Oh, there we go. You can actually stun him like you would others, too. Shoot. Well, and there we have it. Pretty tough, pretty difficult. I've fought him maybe 3 or 4 times, not a ton, but I'm sort of getting the rhythm, but that just gives you a little idea. Now, this cool thing is it actually shows you all these stats, too. So this is attempt 21 I've had of the game, which goes super quick. I mean, this game is very hard at first to get to the timing down and realize what the enemies are doing. But it goes through and it actually tells you all of this. It's fantastic. Got a lot of damage, you know, it even tells you your damage bonuses that you had, which I had nothing. I just had capacity, I believe, which here's some of your capacity, and tells you a little bit about the enemy that killed you, too. Anyway, so afterwards, you get, the only other thing to mention probably is you get these little eggs, and that's where you put your skill points into, which if I go over here, as you can see here, it requires 3 to get further down that branch. And here, I could purchase this. However, well, I just did. I don't normally, I feel like, let's see how that looks. Gives 2 more permanent max HP. Oh, that would have been, huh. I guess there was. I wasn't really too keen on this ground pound, but now I have the ability to get this, which is fantastic. But I don't really typically feel like I attack enemies on the ground that way, but I think this game is trying hard to promote people to actually spread out their style of gameplay. It's important to use every type of game, or every type of weapon you have. Oh, look at that. You can go left. I've never really tried. And here's that computer. It kind of talks about, this is really just the background lore. Expedition logs, bestiary. Probably, you know, this game's not going to be as big as a lot of your other games that have been out, but it's also currently in early access. And if this developer has plans to improve upon this, which they have over time, even beyond release, then this game's really going to be something special. I really just have had a lot of fun playing this. It's challenging, it's fast-paced. I can draw comparisons to so many different games with this, and I'm surprised I haven't heard about it until now. So I'm hoping people find their way to this game if they love this style and really just have a blast with it. Anyway, that's going to be it for Beardford. That's going to be it for this series today. I'll probably be doing an actual review on this game down the road. But you can probably catch me on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Beardford playing this, among other games. But I'm hoping to just kill that first boss, so hopefully I can do it, and hopefully I'll be able to post a little video about it when I do. So anyway, take care all. Thanks for coming by.